New York. At the turn of the 20th century, it was not simply a city. It was a promise, a machine built from ambition, smoke, steel, and human hunger. Every night, thousands stared across the black Atlantic waters toward Manhattan and believed they were looking at the future itself.
We're here.
And perhaps they were, because nowhere on
together.
Earth burned brighter than New York
The baby
in
is cold.
1900. Electricity spilled through the streets like artificial sunlight. Skyscrapers clawed higher into the sky every month. Factories never slept. Ships arrived every hour. Money moved
To a wonderful
faster
evening.
than morality.
And
the
to
city
good
pulsed
company.
with the terrifying confidence of something that believed it could never die. But cities are strange living things. The brighter they glow, the darker the shadows beneath them become. Above the streets, the wealthy danced beneath crystal chandeliers while orchestras played late into the night. Below them, entire immigrant families slept beside leaking steam pipes in rooms so crowded people took turns lying down. Children worked in factories until their lungs filled with soot. Dock workers vanished beneath machinery
cold
and were
bites hard
replaced
tonight.
before sunrise.
Aye, but
And
the horses
still
fared
they came.
worse.
From
Rest now,
Italy,
we'll need our strength.
Ireland, from Russia, from places so poor and broken that even New York felt like salvation. They arrived carrying little more than photographs, hope, and exhaustion. To them, Manhattan looked
slippery.
less like a city and more like heaven built from stone and fire.
Just a little further.
But New York was never heaven. It was a
It's
furnace,
vibrating violently!
and furnaces consumed
Sparks, get
everything
back!
fed into
Watch
them.
the steam!
By
Generators
1900,
unstable!
the city was
Evacuate!
growing faster than
getting
human
worse!
beings could truly understand. Wooden neighborhoods stood beside electrical lines. Gas pipes ran beneath overcrowded streets. Factories packed tightly together operated day and night. The future had arrived, but the city beneath it still belonged to another century. And nobody wanted to stop the machine long enough to ask what would happen if something went wrong. Because New York rewarded movement, speed, expansion, profit. To slow down was to fall behind. So the city kept building upward while quietly rotting underneath. And perhaps that is how all disasters truly begin. Not with evil, not with monsters, but with ordinary people becoming too busy to notice the cracks beneath their feet. At night, Manhattan glowed like molten metal. Smoke drifted across rooftops. Train tracks thundered overhead. Steam rose from underground tunnels like the breath of some buried creature. Even the air itself felt hot with ambition. But hidden beneath that beauty was exhaustion. The firefighters knew it. The workers knew it. The poor certainly knew it. Every winter, fires erupted somewhere in the city. A warehouse, an apartment, a dockyard. Most people barely noticed it. New York had become addicted to danger. And danger, repeated long enough, eventually starts to feel normal. That was the true illusion of old New York. Not that it was safe, but that people believed disaster would always happen somewhere else. Then came the fog, a cold Atlantic fog, so thick it swallowed entire streets whole. Street lamps became ghosts inside the darkness. The harbor disappeared. The skyline vanished. And somewhere inside that frozen maze of smoke, steam, and shadow, a spark appeared. Small, almost meaningless, the kind of accidents cities ignore every day. A flame in the corner of a crowded factory, oil nearby, dry wood overhead, workers too exhausted to react quickly enough. At first,
Wake up!
nobody
The stairs
panicked
are collapsing!
because New York had seen fire
Help!
before.
Move! Get
At this
out!
time,
Push through!
the
Don't
wind
stop! I
changed,
can't breathe! It's too
and
dark!
suddenly, the city itself became fuel. Flames climbed walls faster than men could run. Smoke poured through stairwells. Windows exploded outward into the night.
Wake
Entire
up, we have to
rooftops
go!
Ignited one
Mommy,
after
I'm
another,
scared!
like
Hold on to me,
falling
stay
dominoes.
close! It's so hot! To the
moved
door!
with
Now!
terrifying intelligence, jumping
Clear the
streets,
way! Fire
leaping
brigade coming
rooftops,
through! Look
finding
out! Move
every
aside!
weakness
Faster,
hidden
boys! The
inside
blaze
city's
won't wait!
bones.
Watch the horses!
People
Get
woke
back!
to red light
Keep ringing
flooding
that
their
bell! Don't
bedrooms.
stop!
Children screamed in dark hallways. Families ran into frozen streets, carrying whatever they could hold in their arms. Some carried money. Some carried photographs.
Break it down!
Some
They're trapped!
carried nothing at all. Above
Cough,
them,
keep pushing!
Sparks drifted through
Almost
the night
through,
sky,
watch out!
burning snow.
Inside! Search now!
Still, the fire kept
No, I
growing.
won't leave.
Horse-drawn fire engines raced through
My photos,
crowded
I can't
avenues,
leave them.
while bells rang endlessly
Please,
through
not
Manhattan.
yet.
Firefighters smashed through doors searching for trapped civilians. Some entered buildings they already knew they could never leave. Because bravery often looks less like heroism and more like ordinary people refusing to abandon strangers. But the city was too dry, too crowded, too
Drive on!
exhausting.
Don't stop!
Then, something
We have the
even
silver,
worse
sir!
happened.
The children! Get the
water pressure
children!
failed.
They're safe! Go
Hydrants
now!
sputtered weakly,
Faster, lads!
while
Here!
flames swallowed entire blocks. For the first time in generations, New York understood something horrifying. The city could actually die. Panic spread faster than the fire itself. Crowds flooded the streets. Horses broke free from burning stables. Police lost control. Smoke turned night into blindness. People became separated from loved ones only a few feet away. Some never found each other again. And somewhere high above the chaos, Manhattan's elite watched the disaster unfold from mansion windows and rooftop terraces. At first, many believed the flames would never reach them. Disasters belonged to the poor, to factories, to crowded immigrant districts, not to marble ballrooms and electric chandeliers. But fire does not care about class, or money, or power. It moves according to simpler laws: wind, fuel, oxygen, fear.
Soon, even the wealthy fled northward through the darkness, while servants remained behind trying to save possessions that no longer mattered. And beneath the orange sky, the illusions separating rich and poor began to burn away. Because catastrophe has a way of revealing what societies truly are beneath decoration and wealth. And New York, for one terrible night, revealed itself completely. Not as the capital of the future, but as a fragile wooden machine barely holding itself together. The elevated railways caught fire, steel warped from unbearable heat, glass rained into the streets below. Factories collapsed inward like dying animals. The skyline itself seemed alive with flame. And through it all, thousands of ordinary people faced impossible choices. A firefighter deciding whether to save a stranger or his own crew. A mother refusing to leave without her missing child. Workers trapped inside buildings, choosing between smoke above or fire below. A woman clutching family photographs while her apartment burned around her. These are the moments history rarely remembers, because history prefers numbers, dates, statistics. But real disasters are always human, always personal, always intimate, one frightened face at a time. By midnight, entire sections of Manhattan looked apocalyptic. The East River reflected a sky that had turned completely orange. Smoke covered the stars. Ash drifted through the air like winter snow. And somewhere inside the chaos, people began to realize something terrifying. The city they loved might not survive until morning. Then came the collapses, buildings crashing inward with thunderous force, church towers disappearing into firestorms, apartment walls exploding outward into crowded streets. Every collapse sounded like the end of the world, and for many families, it was. Yet, even inside that horror, strange moments of humanity survived. Firefighters formed chains carrying water buckets through smoke. Strangers pulled children from debris. Doctors treated burn victims beneath candlelight without stopping for hours.
Priests walked through fire-lit streets, offering comfort to the dying. Because when civilization begins to fail, human beings often reveal who they truly are. Some become selfish, others become extraordinary. And perhaps both have always existed inside us at the same time. Hours passed. The fire kept feeding. The city kept breaking. But eventually, even destruction grows tired. Near dawn, the flames began to weaken, not because New York defeated the fire, but because there was less left to burn. And as gray morning light slowly spread across Manhattan, the survivors finally saw what remained: ruins, entire neighborhoods reduced to black skeletons and ash, smoke drifting between collapsed buildings, frozen streets covered in debris, people wandering silently through destruction, searching for names, faces, pieces of their former lives. Some searched for photographs, others searched for wedding rings, many searched for people they would never find again. And perhaps the cruelest part of all was how quickly the city began moving forward. Before the smoke fully cleared, businessmen were already discussing reconstruction, new blueprints, taller buildings, stronger steel, more electricity. New York mourned, but only briefly, because ambition was the city's true heartbeat, and ambition never rests for long. Works crews arrived while bodies were still being counted. Workers cleared rubble where homes had stood only hours earlier. The machine had survived, damaged, scarred, but alive. And that survival changed the city forever. Old New York did not vanish in a single fire. It vanished in the decisions made afterward. Because after witnessing destruction on that scale, the city faced a question every civilization eventually encounters.
New York answered by rebuilding bigger than before, taller, brighter, faster. The scars became foundations, the tragedy became fuel, and within years, much of old New York disappeared beneath modern steel and electric light. But something human disappeared with it, something quieter, slower, more fragile: the memory of limitation. Because once societies survive catastrophe, they often become even more convinced of their own invincibility. And maybe that is the real story hidden beneath all great cities, not how they rise, but what they are willing to sacrifice in order to keep rising. Today, Manhattan still glows at night like a constellation built by human hands. Millions walk those streets without realizing how many forgotten lives rest beneath the pavement. The workers, the immigrants, the firefighters, the families who disappeared inside smoke and ash, the people who built the future without ever truly becoming part of it. Cities rarely remember individuals. They remember momentum, expansion, profit. But history leaves echoes behind for those willing to listen. And if you stand in New York late enough at night, when the fog rolls between skyscrapers, when steam rises from the streets, when distant sirens bounce between the buildings, you can almost feel the ghost of old New York still breathing beneath the modern city. A reminder, a warning. Maybe every civilization eventually reaches a night like this, a moment when progress burns so brightly that people stop noticing the cost. And maybe that is why the story still matters now, because the flames were never only about New York. It was about human beings, our ambition, our arrogance, our refusal to slow down, our belief that bigger always means better, and our endless habit of rebuilding the same dangerous dreams again and again. The flames of old New York eventually faded, but the questions never did. How much suffering can hide beneath prosperity? How many invisible people hold civilizations together?
And at what point does a city stop belonging to human beings and begin demanding human beings belong to it? Perhaps no one can answer that completely, but somewhere beneath modern Manhattan, beneath the steel, the glass, the electric light, the ashes of old New York are still there, waiting, quiet, buried beneath the future it helped create.